President Nana Akufo-Addo says he felt respected by the decision of the MP Andrew Samoako-Esiama to run as an independent candidate. The constituency is a focus of our election headquarters show on Joy FM this evening, the battleground. You may want to tune in to that. Now, Ghanaians have ranked the NPP administration's performance as higher than the former NDC administration. This is contained in the latest survey conducted by the National Commission on Civic Education, NCCE. The survey, which sought the views of 9,541 citizens across the 16 regions, found that education, health, and employment are the topmost matters of concern to voters ahead of the December 7 polls. On their performance in these areas, Ghanaians scored the NPP 60.2%, whilst the NDC obtained 50.6%. Analyzing the report with Daniel Dazi on Prime Morning, Director of Research at NCCE, Dr. Henrietta Asante Sapong, revealed the reasons that respondents gave for their ranking. First is education.
On education, with the scale that we used, we had the NDC having an average score of 2.75, with the NPP having an average score of 3.31. On health, we had the NDC scoring 2.69 from our respondents, and then NPP scoring 2.82. The margin is very, very slim. And then on employment, our respondents scored the NDC 2.17 averagely, and then 2.92 averagely for the NPP. We went further to also explore the reasons given for higher. This is average. So of course we had a proportion scoring each government a higher score, a higher rate, and then some scoring lower rates. So for the NPP on high score when it comes to education, they were praised by the people for implementation of the free SHS policy. It's a positive one, and so it received higher scores. Higher score, that is scores between 4 and 5. And then on the lower side, the issue that came up as the main reason, lower is between 1 and 2. The poor implementation of the free SHS policy came as the #1 reason, and then the general decline in quality of education due to the double-track system. We didn't go further to ask our respondents to explain what they mean by quality, but the ordinary person feels that the double-track system has the potential of making our education not one that is of a high quality. For the NDC on education and receiving high scores, the reason was that there was addition of significant number of educational infrastructure during their tenure. And scoring the NDC lower, the reasons were the fact that there was high cost of education during their tenure, then lack of policy to deal with challenges within the sector. That's for education.
On health, Dr. Henrietta Asante Sapong indicated that Ghanaians praised the NPP government's effort in managing COVID-19.
Can I go ahead and mention a little for health?
Healthcare, yeah.
For health, NPP received higher scores with these reasons, that there has been effective management of the NHIS, and then effective management of the COVID-19 pandemic also came up as a very topmost reason why they scored higher. Then on the low side, the inability of the administration to address healthcare needs of some sections of the population generally, and then the seemingly lack of infrastructure in particularly rural areas within the country came up. For the NDC, the construction of a number of health facilities gave them a very high score from our respondents, and then a cross-section also felt that the NHIS was even more effective during the tenure of the NDC. Those who scored lower for the NDC, that section of the respondents who scored lower also indicated otherwise for the NHIS. They felt that the NHIS was not better. So there's some level of contradiction, but the population or the respondent population was different.
She said Ghanaians are happy with the introduction of NABCO, but showed aversion towards the collapse of some financial institutions.
Employment and MPP receiving high scores, the reasons given were the fact that there's increase in youth employment opportunities relative to the NDC government, and then the government has performed generally well in terms of providing employment opportunities, looking at the NAPCO. And then on the lower side, the reasons were that there has been collapse of a number of businesses and financial institutions. And then the ban on galamsey is one other reason that was given by our respondents. The NDC was scored higher on employment for establishing a number of companies during their tenure. And then recruitment within the public sector, from our respondents' perspective, was more during the tenure of the NDC. And then at the lower side, the inability to create employment opportunities, and then the collapse of some businesses as well during their tenure were some of the factors that came up.